Well, here we go again, back to a podcast, grand final, NRRRL wrap, Gingy and the Fox here. We're going all out. I'm talking pretty quick tonight because we've got a short time.
Are we on?
We're on.
I didn't even realise. There we go.
There you go. I just thought I'd G up there. We're definitely on. You thought I was just...
I was sitting there, just thought you were
doing the
testing
big
your mic
preamp.
or
No,
something.
actually, mate, we're on. This is the grand final.
The grand finale.
Podcast stir. And we want to apologise first and foremost for all of our viewing audience last week. We had a technical issue that didn't allow us to put our pre-grand final episode together. But we're back here tonight. We're ready to roll, and we're going to punch out how the NRRRL grand final went on the weekend, Leslie.
And let's get straight into it, eh?
I'm ready to go, brother. I'm ready to go. That's why I'm here.
Around the grounds.
Welcome back. Here we go.
All right, let's get straight into it, eh?
Straight
with the
up,
ladies.
let's call
kick
it round.
off with the Ladies League Tag Grand
Ladies League
Final.
Tag. Straight into it.
Between Marsh Brothers Rams and the Tweed Seagulls. And the Tweed Seagulls come out victors, 12-6.
12-6, yeah. Well, look, I think the comment from around the ground is that they were the team to beat all year. Mm-hmm. They had a bit of a mishap in the major semi to get through to the grand final with Brothers coming out on that day. And then they went away, worked hard, did a job on Coogin up at Coogin, and then coming down here and did a job on Brothers on the grand final day, 12-6.
Yeah, so they hold up the shield there, 12.
Well, they did, mate, and they did play at 20 past 9, which is quite early, even for people like me. Surprisingly, it was actually probably the hottest part of the day was between 9 and 11. So they were in the heat of the moment, and I'm not saying that had an effect, but look, from all records, it was a really good game. Obviously, I didn't get to see that game because I was out prepping the next game. So, but from what I've seen on the footage, it looked pretty good. Open game.
Low scoring game.
Low scoring game, but that's, I mean, I don't think that there are too many games of high-scoring league tag games these days. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm not quite sure. I'm not going to preempt next season, but I know that on the table for discussion is whether we continue with the ladies league tag into the future. I think if not this year, if not next year, definitely the year after that, league tag will be faded out of history, and it'll be something that we talked about as the pathway into the tackle game, now that the tackle game has taken off quite big.
Especially women's tackle, isn't it?
Yeah, it has,
huge NRLW.
Well, it is, and they grow 2 teams every year, so they're at 10 now. They'll be at 12 next year. The NRRRL this year at 4. Well, we did start with 6, faded to 4, and I'm hearing next year we're going to 6 to 8 again, or maybe even 7. We'll see how we go.
Oh, that'd be great.
But yeah, overall, good game.
Beautiful. Let's move into the women's tackle, which you were the coach of, mate. And the mighty Dirrawongs come away with a 46-18 victory for back-to-back premierships.
Mate, I'll tell you what. I know it is the second year of the competition, and I know, Sorry?
Third year.
Is it?
Yep.
Hey, sure.
I've seen Boundless Seagulls on the shield the year before.
And ladies tackle. Oh, that was a pathway comp. Just to, yeah. Well, if they're counting it, they're counting it. But I mean, for the Northern girls, look, congratulations, well done. It's been an absolute pleasure to be a part of your team this year as your coach. I can definitely say thoroughly enjoyed it. It did get off to a bit of a rocky start for me, but the longer the season went on, the more the girls really got stuck into it, and the more that they were willing to learn. The biggest thing I said to someone in the league, and they said, "What's it like, Benji, coaching ladies tackle?" And I said, "You know what the pleasure or part about coaching ladies tackle is? They actually listen. No disrespect to the guys out there, but these girls, they listen, they're willing to work hard, and they're willing to learn." Sorry?
Didn't I listen to you when you coached me?
Well, I think you probably... there was times where I don't think you did. But that being said, mate, look, I think Bilambil, mate, they gave us a test all year. They really have a really good side up there, by the way. Talent across the board. Obviously their coaching staff up at Bilambil do a great job coaching these ladies on the skill base as well as their, athleticism and the fitness components. Look, leading into the game, there was a lot of banter, from the players, both teams, a lot of banter, and I think there was a bit of banter that really, I would say, lit the fire for our girls. There was a comment that was made post-game of the Coogin, up there when they played, when Bilambil played Evans Head up at Coogin. That went on to the news, which, obviously that people can do that. And one of the things that the comment was made was that Bilambil, being Bilambil, thought they could get out there and really do a job on the Northern girls. And there was a bit of a moral to the story. They said that, Northern girls are big girls, and that, the Bilambil team were fitter, faster and stronger. 46-18. Fitter, faster and stronger. The only thing I can say is if I didn't coach a fit, fast, strong, big side, then I'm not quite sure what happened on that day, because I'll tell you what, our girls looked fit in that second half. They looked stronger. They definitely looked quicker at points of the game. No disrespect again to the Bilambil team, but at the end of the day, when you light the fire, you need to bring a bucket of water to try and put it out.
Well, not too many people would have expected this scoreline, would they? But the Northern girls. And
mate.
They've come out
Credit to them. The last 3 weeks leading into that grand final, training-wise, mate, we were on song at training. We did everything. We ticked all the right boxes. The girls' willingness to be, want to work hard on the little bits of the game. Our kicking game was brilliant. We worked for 3 weeks straight on our kicking game, and we thought if we could get to the kick with a good chase, turn them around, get a few repeat sets, we could come over the top quite well. And it was 10-12 at half time, and they were leading. We didn't panic in the sheds. We came out of there thinking, you know what, that's one half of football. It was tough, but what did we have in the tank to be able to come out in that second half the way that we did? And I had the honest belief in our girls, but credit goes to where credit's due. Look, they did the work. The Bilambil team, credit to them as well, mate. They, as I said, they're a great team, coach well. They're going to, I think I even said it on grand final day, sometimes you've got to lose one to win one. And I have no doubt in the years to come you'll see the Bilambil team get stronger as they go. And so will the Northern team. And I think hopefully the whole women's tackle in the NRRRL will grow to a strong competition. I actually think it was up there as one of the games of the day.
Yes, congratulations there to the Northern United Durongs going back-to-back for a 46-18 victory there over the Bilambil Jets. We'll move on to the under-18s, Benji, where this, mate, was, some people are saying it was the game of the day, where the Byron Bay Red Devils were up against the Bilambil Jets,
mate,
and the Byron Bay Red Devils come out victors 36-28.
Yeah, mate, look, I'll tell you, it was a close game, this game. I think me and you going into this game, we both tipped the Byron team. And I can tell you what, I said this to Mickey Foster, whatever's going on at Byron in relation to your under-18s and the pathway, there's another flow-on effect to that was into their reserve grade side. If I was Byron, I'd be doing a little bit of investment into that space, because I think that's where they're going to be able to get to the point of being successful at first grade level. The experiment over the last few years with the Tweed boys coming down, doing that sort of thing, look, it hasn't worked. No. Let's just be honest about it. It hasn't worked. But the fruit's on the tree. And the tree is in their reserve grade and their under-18s, and particularly that under-18s team.
And their reserve grade made the grand final too.
From what I'm hearing, this under-18s team too, mate, they have been a group of kids that have been together since they were 12 years of age, since they did the merger, Byron-Lennox merger, and these are the kids of the fruits of that decision. And you're starting to see a little bit of another flow on into their reserve grade, as I just said. So,
and last year they had a couple of their under-18s boys go on to the NRRRL pathways.
They got 3 kids playing at, I think, Cowboys, the Raiders, and the Doggies. Yeah, sorry, not the Cowboys, the Doggies, the Raiders, and the Warriors. Yeah, so and I can tell you right now, after watching that game, there's probably about 2 or 3 other kids that should be there as well. So, I mean, that's a great pathway for development. Those kids that are Byron kids that have gone on to play NRL, they'll come back in years to come, and hopefully they can help Byron continue their build to success. But I'll tell you now, and I'll say it again, the fruit's on the tree, so start picking that before you start to look outside of your own little niche. You've got a good nest. make the nest work for you.
And I will say, Benji, congratulations to the Balambal Jets under-18s team.
Oh, mate,
how good have they been
2 years in a row?
The last couple of weeks.
2 years in a row, mate. They've fought hard to be where they are.
So there's a lot of talent coming through there.
Mate, Balambal's a strong club. They've got a good junior base, very strong junior base, and that's proven right through that. They were very close to having every team represented in every grade. So, I mean, proof's in the pudding. The Balambal Jets were the club of the competition because of the way that they just grow this wonderful thing.
They probably could have had one more because they did elect not to have a league tag team this year, didn't they? And they concentrated on the women's tackle.
Yeah, they want to grow the game. That's why they say the future is as well.
But congratulations there to the Byron Bay Red Devils.
Well done. Congrats, boys. Well done. And we hope to see us all in first grade next year at some years anyway.
So, mate, we'll move on to the reserve grade fixture where the Tweedhead Seagulls defeated the Byron Bay Red Devils 30-18.
This was a good game. I watched this game from the hill.
From the hill?
Yeah, 5 beers deep.
Benji on the hill.
5 beers deep. Yeah, so I was up on the hill because I got sacked from the commentary team by Dwayne. So, for me, I didn't really. I thought, well, you know what? I did get off to do the reserve grade, but it's below my pay grade. And I did tell Dwayne that. But look, you'll hear my voice again on the mics over the knockout weekend, and same with you, Leslie. And at least I know that from an NRRRL point of view on a Bar TV perspective, I'll be back on the air next year, and I might even run my own little gig. So Dwayne, sack Dwayne.
Settle down,
I'll do a couple of games by myself. I think it might be good to be entertaining. Me and you, I'm just going to go 2 out. We're going limb. I think we've got Goffey, our media manager. He'll take care of the business, and competition's on, Dwayne. Bring it on. Let's do it.
So, mate, what did you think of this game? You sat down the hill and watched it?
This was, mate, I'll tell you, this was really entertaining. It ebbed and flowed. The defensive
score was?
The defensive, oh, mate, I'll tell you what.
Was it close?
Right up until the last 10 minutes, that game was, I think there was like 2 points in it, or one try. It kept going up and down, and one team kept trying to gain the ascendancy. And I thought at one point Byron were going to come right over the top of these guys and just blow, Seagulls out of the water. But they're playing a first grade side. So, I know the Tweed Seagulls, look, cop it on the chin. You guys have got good enough to play that first grade competition. There's teams in the first grade competition you guys would have beat this year, without a doubt. If you don't like it, then so be it. Next year you're playing first grade, and that's where it's at. So, we want to see you guys build into a great thing. We want to see it work. But let's take the plunge and dip your feet into the first grade next year and have a crack and see how you go. Win, lose or draw. It's just about giving yourselves an opportunity in your playing group, and you've got a good junior base, so make it work for you. But that being said, mate, valiant is the word I can use for the Byron Bay boys. They really fought that one out. I didn't realise there was a young kid there, I think Dane Wilson, at night. I don't know, but Dano, I know, look, if you're not wanted next year in first grade
I think that's Dylan Wilson.
Dylan Wilson's brother, yeah. If Dane's not wanted next year at Byron Bay, mate, there's a job over at Northern if you want to come over and have a crack. So I'd take it tomorrow. He was actually really, really good out of 9. But that being said, Tweed Seagulls run away with the victory, mate.
Yeah, good win there to Tweed
Good win,
Seagulls.
and now they progress into first grade next year.
We look forward to seeing you in first grade next year.
Yep.
Mate, we'll move on to the big one, the main show.
Yeah.
The Ballina Seagulls up against the Balambal Jets.
Yeah, well, by the time this game got on, mate, I was about 8 beers deep.
16-10, Seagulls win.
I went there with I was actually, I'm telling you, I wasn't even going to have a beer. I think I told you that. But 8 beers going on to 9, 15 minutes into the first half, I was up there with the best on the hill, trust me. It was very entertaining. I wasn't, but the people I was with were really entertaining. Big Gordy was in fine form. His commentary, he was obviously there. Barry, at one stage, I'll give you the people that I was with started out supporting Balambal, finished supporting Ballina. I don't know how that works, but anyway, I didn't support either side. I basically went there trying to be neutral. Just watch it for the spectacle that it was. But I do know, mate. I'll tell you one player that I was pretty impressed with. I don't know if he's going around next year. I don't think he will be. But Jesse Perry, mate, he made some crucial decisions in that game defensively that really – and people are going to go back and look at the game and think, oh, shit, like, what's he talking about? go back and watch the game for its defensive efforts. And Jesse Perry's defensive, he made a couple of massive decisions defensively that I believe etched their way to winning that grand final. And he was great. Being mindful, the poor kid didn't even know if he was going to play grand final day because his missus was actually due to have baby. And I seen her, poor thing. She was, she was walking around heavily pregnant, and I'm thinking, Jesse's on the field. He's got to come off at some point. I reckon they've gone straight to the hospital because, and if they did and they've had Bob, mate, congratulations, Jesse. But people can go back and look at the game. I don't know who got man of the match.
Ant Coleman.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jesse Perry would have been, I think he came off the bench. If he didn't have any input in that game, they don't win.
I'll tell you what, Jesse Perry has been big these last couple of weeks. Like, you go back and watch his semi-final games too, he really just took that team under his wing and said,
Ant Coleman was big. He was great. He's the player of the year and player of the grand final. So that just proves that he's had a massive year after a hip replacement that people usually get when they're 70. Ant's having it now. He's probably going to get another one between now and the next 40 years. But anyway, it's just, I'm going to call him the golden hip. Because he's come out of that hip replacement and that's probably been one of his biggest years, all bar the year he had before he went up to Titans.
You reckon Jesco's hung the boots up now? He's got that premiership?
There is a group of players. I know Ciro dabbled a bit this year. I know Dane Clark was there a little bit this year, in and out. You've got Jesse Perry. I'll throw my young bloke Caleb into the mix as well. They all grew up playing footy together. Now, I know some of those boys are retired. I'm hearing that could have been Jesse's last hurrah. If it is, mate, I'll tell you what, he's had a bloody great time because I think that's 7 or 8 premierships he's won for the Ballina Seagulls in the last 10, 11 years.
And he's been in a couple that he's lost.
Yeah, so out of all the grand finals over the last 10 years, he's played in every one of them. He's won 8. Now, there's an old adage, Jesse, and any player that sometimes thinks about these things. If you've had a great run like you guys have had, and you always go, well, I've got one more year left in me, and you know what I'm talking about here, Leslie, because you've probably gone 1 year too long at points.
5 years too many.
But it is if you retire tomorrow, if any of those boys retire tomorrow, they could hold their hats high and go, we've finished off on a really good note. Really good young group. It's going to be interesting to see what happens beyond this year because I know they did struggle at times as a playing group. Barnes pulled it all together, and from that, he's got another grand final under his belt as well.
And another coach with a good record.
Good record. I'm not quite sure if Barnes is. I don't know if you've got any inside info, but I'm not quite sure if Barnes is going around next year with the Ballina Seagulls as a coach.
I don't know. I haven't heard.
I'm hearing there are a couple of names that have been mentioned as assistant coaches. There was one that I talked to up on the hill on the weekend, and he wouldn't drop the bomb, but I'm pretty certain that he's definitely going to be having something to do with the Ballina Seagulls coaching staff.
You going to leak it or not?
Yeah, Mark Sivrite.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. I'll just say it how it is. I'm not holding back. I'm just going to throw it out there. So I'm hearing Mark Sivrite's going to be added to the coaching staff at Ballina next year. I think his young bloke's down there as well, isn't he? Playing footy down there, or could be. I'm pretty sure he is. But, so I'm hearing that name thrown out there. I'm hearing other names thrown around at Ballina from a coaching perspective and player coaching perspective. But we'll see what happens between now. It is the silly season, as I said last week, so last fortnight. And
heats up.
We'll see what happens. So, at the end of the day, mate, going back to the game.
Belamble.
But, mate, they were really good.
Yeah,
they were really good. It's the old adage, I think anything could have happened at any given point in the game, and there was a couple of opportunities that Belamble had, and they didn't convert. They convert those opportunities, they win the game. Right down to the last 3 minutes, literally, and it was exciting right down to there. But credit to Ballina Seagulls' defence. It was that they defended themselves to a winning victory. I think that's got to be said. Fitness again, Ballina's renowned for their fitness. If there's a leaf out of that book for both these teams, for any other club in the competition, particularly Northern United, if you want to be successful, you want to win premierships, stop talking crap and get fit, and that's how you win premierships. And proof's in the pudding. The Belamble Jets, won a couple themselves, played in the last, I think, 5 or 6 years in the finals, been there or thereabouts, and if not won. Ballinar's the same, mate. They've it's all based on fitness, and if people are willing to sacrifice and work hard, I think anything's possible in this competition, and it just comes down to hard work and ethics. So, get that bit right. Stop believing in your own egos, and anything is possible, I think, in this competition.
That's it. So congratulations to the Ballina Seagulls, the 2024 premiers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, mate. I mean, every team that played on the weekend, from the Tweed Seagulls in the league tag, Northern United in the ladies tackle, Byron Bay in the 18s, Tweed Seagulls again in the reserve grade in Ballina. Mate, those clubs, hats off to you, mate. You guys are the champs for 2024. It's great to win them, and now you've got an off season to think about it, and then you've got to work out whether you want to be going around and doing it all again.
And now you're the hunted.
Yeah, well, that's it, and every one of those teams will definitely be the hunted. And as much as a lot of the other, I will say this, as much as all that's been great, it's been an absolute brilliant year. With washouts, we've had technical issues.
You have to bring up the washouts.
We've had microphones go missing. By the way, I just want to actually, on behalf of the MGM team and Mark Goff Media, guys, ladies, gentlemen, there was a box of microphones left down in the little dugout or up above that where the camera crew was on the weekend. If anyone, and I mean anyone, has come across those microphones, they're not cheap. They're nearly over $6,000 worth of microphone and video footage gear, all in a box. If anyone has come across them, please ring Mark Goff Media, or send an email, because he's working his ass off for all that sort of stuff, and they make this sort of stuff happen. They make your weekends happen. They also give you the opportunity to sit at home in your lounge rooms and watch some great footy. Mm-hmm. So anyone out there, if you know where they are, if you've got them, please give them back. Mark really needs them, and we really need them. We've got a knockout coming up. Can't get enough microphones. There's only, they've got more than just me and Foxy there. So be appreciated by the whole team at Mark Goff Media. So, yeah, get around and get them back.
Yes, well said.
But outside of that, it's been a great year. As I said, washouts, and more washouts. We had IT, technical issues, microphones, video cameras,
controversy.
Live. We nearly got our contracts torn up for saying stuff that we probably shouldn't have during the year, but who cares? That's what it's about. It's been a great year, and look, I just want to say we're going to be back next week. We're doing a knockout. What, sorry?
Got any goss before we go? Like silly season goss?
Silly season goss. Yeah, look, I've heard Roy Bell signed with Casino.
Is that true?
Yeah, it is true, mate. It's inked in a contract.
Just a player or a player coach?
I think he's a player. I'm not quite sure about the coaching, but Roy Bell's left the Evans Head Bombers fold. He's
back to Casino.
Jumped on his plane and flew to Casino. He's landed there quite well, and he'll be there trying to, boost the Casino stocks for next year. But I think every club's got to worry about this. If you finished 4 or above, if you finished 4th, you've got 90 points to play with. You finished 3rd, you've got 85. Second, 85, and first, 80. On the PIS points, P-P-I-S, PIS points.
P-P-I-S.
Yeah, it's not the PIPs. That's how it's pronounced, Goffy, PIS points, which is the New South Wales Rugby League competition. That's what the NRRRL are guided by. So obviously 5th and 6th, I think, are on 100 with everybody else, and you've got to manage your rosters. So, yeah, so I'm hearing player movement. As I said, Roy Bell's over at Casino. I'm hearing retirements. I've just mentioned some of them. I'm hearing some coaching changes in rostering. So, Civi's out down at Ballina next year. I'm hearing that there could be some movements in Brothers camp, coaching-wise as well. This time it's not from Goffy and his goss. It's actually, I'm hearing it from a really good source that there is coaching movements at Brothers. The Northern United stable is sound and secure coaching-wise next year. We're just working out rostering now. We've got a few more points to play with this year than we did last year. We hope to retain. We've retained I think some really good quality. We've added a couple already. I won't make those announcements just yet until probably about a week or so. Might even make some announcements next week in the northern space. We do know that there's going to be some difference up at the Tweed with the reserve grade winning premiers now looking to play first grade next year, which is a great thing for the competition.
Have they announced their coach for next year yet? No.
Well, I'm hearing there could be some coaching movements in the Tweed. I don't want to really put my hat on this one just yet.
Wait till you hear.
But it came from some pretty reliable sources that there's some movement on the Tweed, that a really good coach at a great club could be making the move across to another club. And I'm hearing that might ruffle some feathers, if you get my drift.
I get it.
At another club. And if it does ruffle some feathers, then, that's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. No one's heard anything about what's happening up in Murbar or Coogin.
I see Lower announced their coach the other day.
Who is it? Sorry.
I'll have a quick look.
There you go. Let's jump on we'll jump on them and have a look now. Let's do a Lower Clarence. No, it's not Duggo, obviously.
No.
Do we think we'll see some movement between
Dan Kemp?
Dan Kemp or Dan and Kemp?
Dan Kemp.
Dan Kemp or Kemp?
Kemp. K-E-M-P.
Okay.
First grade coach for 2025.
There you go. So the Lower Clarence, there's movements down at the Lower. Will we see?
Dan has coached the North Coast Bulldogs first grade.
Oh, he did last year.
And Laurie Daly Cup teams.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he's there coaching at Lower next year.
Group 3 representative team.
So do we think we're going to see some Group 3 movement at Lower?
Maybe.
Or Group 2, sorry.
Who knows?
Group 2, do you think we'll see the Grafton Lower thing play out next year?
Maybe.
Well, you usually get some inside gossip about what's going on with the
I'll have
Ghosties.
to try and get some goss.
So next week, how about next week we just have a really good goss section?
Knockout and goss.
Knockout and the NRRRL goss. So Goffy, you've got a week to think about. So actually, no, we'll keep you out of it. We've got a week to think about what's going on in the world.
He's back next week.
He's back next week.
Goss.
Well, actually, you know what? He can actually make an entrance next year from behind the screen to the front of the screen and talk. We can actually get the real Goffy's goss happening.
In here.
Yeah, he's going to take a seat. There you are, ladies and gentlemen. Next week's podcast, which is a knockout wrap and a goss, NRRRL goss section, will be proudly presented by the Gingy, the Foxy, and the Goffmeister. There you go. Special guest from behind the screen. He's going to have to get the mouse to run the screen, so... Yeah, there you go. So we got some. We can't wait till next week. But outside of that,
quickly before we go, how many teams locked in for the Lismore knockout?
20 men's teams.
20 men's teams
and 10 women's teams.
10 women's teams.
So we'll make all of those. We'll make all those announcements next week of those teams.
We'll go through.
We've got a live draw on Wednesday night. So the podcast will have to be Tuesday night. We've got a live draw done down at Mary G's. MGM's going to be down there covering that. You can watch that on YouTube live. And we also
can we do the podcast there?
Hey, how about that, Goffy? Can we do the podcast before?
Not enough equipment.
No, we'll do the podcast Tuesday night. We might have another special guest. He's messaged me today and asked me if we could, and this could be a bit of a. It's cool. We might have an invite the fan section. So a podcast fan messaged me today and asked if he could come on and have a bit of a chat and, make his debut.
Who's that?
Tony Buchanan.
Oh.
He wants to come in next week.
On.
So we'll have Goffy in and we'll have
Make sure he wears
TB.
his shirt.
He will wear his shirt. So TB, get yourself ready next week. You're going to be an invite onto the podcast and you're going to give us the Gingy and Foxy fan view, we'll call it. We're going to make and listen.
What you like, what we could do better.
The biggest thing for next year too, if you're looking forward to the podcast next year, it will be regular. It will be live. We're going to guarantee this. Regular, live, and we're going to have some brand new segments. So watch this space. It will be coming. And the other thing is, if you people out there in Bar TV land, if you people out there in podcast land, NRRRL, and you want to watch some great footy next weekend, strap yourselves in because the Lismore Aboriginal Rugby League Knockout 3 great days. Friday, the women, from 12 o'clock through to 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. 10 teams. And if you think the NRRRL Grand Final was great, wait till you see this. It is amazing. And a great, pathway. And for those people that want to see where the women's games go and watch that coverage on Friday. Followed up then by the Saturday men's competition. 2 grounds, Crozier Oval, Oaks Oval, live footage. You can watch one game over at Crozier, no commentary. And you can watch the main game on Oaks Oval, full commentary, and strap yourselves in because we're going to make it entertaining. And Dwayne, you're not invited because we're taking our show. It's going to be great.
Come on down and watch.
Come on, you can come down and watch, and we might give you Crozier Oval. That's right, it's not going to be covered. But anyway, just saying. But as I said, guys, look, it's going to be a great weekend next weekend. It's knockout footy fever. We'll also have a bit of a yarn about the big knockout next year. This next year, God Jesus, in October. I'm not going this year, but Les is. So we'll give a bit of insight into teams, knockout yarns. We'll talk a little bit about the knockout podcast that's happening out there. And why can't we get an invite? But anyway, we would definitely make that entertaining. Trust me. Not that it hasn't been, guys. You're doing a great job down there, by the way.
Yeah.
And we're not in competition, but we just want to be invited on. If you want to talk about knockouts in the past, oh, God, I can tell you anything you want to know about knockouts in the past. And this bloke can tell you anything you want to know about the last 20 years. And I'll tell you what, I'm just going to go to it. I can't help myself. I picked this up the other day, and I saved it for tonight, really. And I'm going to put it on the podcast tonight. But this is an old... I don't know if you can see that this way. So it's an old Northern United team that took part in the knockouts back in the day. I'm going to give it to Goffey because there's some interesting, photos in this one. So have a look at that. Have a look at that. That is the Fox at his finest. That is in Henson Park, and that is just where is
Lismore.
It? Is it?
Lismore.
No, it's not.
Lismore.
Is that the team?
I guarantee you that's Lismore.
Oaks Oval?
Yep.
Okay, but that same team went down and played.
Well, beat us.
Yeah. So there you go. So that was that.
The eventual carnival winners that
and
weekend.
Mate, I'm looking at this team. You got Big Buddy. Buddy King. You've got
King.
Evan Hickling. You've got Ray Mercy. Brenton Cochran. You've got Willie Hammond. You've got Grant Brown. Alwyn Roberts. Clarence Kelly. Who else is in there? TB. Tony Buchanan.
He's in there.
Tony Buchanan. Look at that. There you go. He'll be on here next week. Have a go at that one. Hey, look at that. Look at this
Steve
one.
Kell.
Look at the one down the bottom. Steve the Man Kelly. There you go. Hey, the real Kelly. Look at him. He could play, the gun Kelly we used to call him. But anyway, look at this. Have a go at this. Willow James. Have a good look at that. Here's some blasts from the past.
They're going to be blowing up at you.
Yeah, and is that John Jarrett?
Oh, I can't see who that is properly. Justin Bolt next to him.
I think that's John Jarrett. Yeah, but here you go. Here's one from the past. Grand final. Leo Denver. Look at that. Hey, Leo Denver playing for the Northern United team at the Lismore knockout. That was actually the year Wollumben won the knockout.
Yep.
Couple of other young blokes in here. Who else is there? Oh, look at that. Couple of runners there. Hey, Big Bo Donovan, look at him. Hey, how good's that? He was a water boy that year, Couldn't get enough. Oh, is that him? Here we go. What a blast from the past. Here you go. Look at that. Ash Moran. Hey, with his contact lenses on too, because he couldn't see. Blind as a bat,
Everyone's going to be blowing up at you.
Oh, what about that?
Zooming in on them all.
Yeah, mate, this is a great team. Yeah, here's young Evan Hickling. And look at who's that young bloke? BJ.
Oh, is it?
Young BJ. Oh, there you go. Next to Evan Hickling. There you go. There's a bar. And look at the bunch cat. Look at him. Look, Bungie. One of the best. Hey, the best defensive player ever to play in the NRRRL or Group 1 Paulie King, the Axemeister. That's him, The closest thing you got to Trevor Gilmeister, Bo. Played with him. But anyway, there's a bit of bluster. So that's what you're going to strap yourself in for next week. The podcast is now.
We might have to dig up a couple of old photos.
Let's just do that. We'll give them the Goffy. Can we give you some? We'll give you some footage next week of
talk about a few teams.
Yeah, talk about a few teams. Yeah, we'll put some photos up.
Now, before we go, congratulations to my favourite female player, number 6 for United, grand final win.
Congratulations.
There you go,
to
Kari
Goffy's
Williams.
favourite
Congratulations. We might even get Kari to come on next week and talk about her grand final and how that was for her this year. She didn't have the coaching. She was a captain coach last year, and she just wanted to be a player, and she had a bloody great year. She was named the
regional player,
New South Wales Regional Player of the Year, followed very, very closely by the NRRRL Player of the Year, Jada King, who had a blind of 22 points. Jada scored 22 points in the weekend, scored 3 tries, kicked a glut foot of goals on a windy day. So, oh God, I'm out of breath.
That's us. That's
us.
Final
There you go. That's grand final wrap. And we are going to see you all next week for a knockout podcast. It's been a great year. Thank you to the NRRRL. Thank you to the supporters, players, ball boys, linesmen, and we are